Hello, 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 everyone. It is me. It is Rita. For those of you whom I have not met, my name is Rita Stewart, and I am so happy that you have joined me for tonight's chat or this evening's chat here over in Money Matters and Tea. And I'm excited, so to speak, about our topic tonight because it's a topic that's a reality for many people. Again, my name is Rita Stewart, and you can find more about what I do to come alongside individuals, families, and small businesses to support them with their financial legacy over at legacyfinancialwellness.com, or to know more about me personally and my full work in ministry at ritastewart.com. So thank you so much for watching this broadcast. If you catch it on the replay, be sure to say hello and let me know that you are here. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining me. I actually right now I cannot see who has joined or even your comments. Audrey, hi Audrey, thank you so much for joining me. I'm not sure, I'm gonna tap this. I'm not sure about what I'm about to do. I don't know, that's just giving me the opportunity to talk. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to read your comments tonight. So it may mean that I have to go back because I'm actually on my phone tonight and not on my laptop or the iPad. But at any rate, we'll take a few minutes to chat about this article. When I read it, I thought, I need to bring this up in the group. And we have a chat about it. Money stress creates work mess. Money stress creates work mess. So earlier today, and thanks again so much for joining me. And be sure, guys, to reach out to others who you think could benefit from some of the information that we share over here in the group. But again, good evening, Audrey, and thank you for everyone who will catch it on the replay. Say hello and let me know you're here. But earlier today, I posted a post that was that has some information about a study that was done by Bankrate, and it said that 45% of Americans said that they know of someone who had experienced an unexpected expense. Hi, Audrey, thank you. That they had experienced an unexpected expense and they were not sure or they didn't have the funds on hand to take care of it. So I had placed that in another group that I'm in, and I had also placed it on my page, Legacy Financial Wellness with Rita Stewart. And one girl responded back and she said, well, I position myself now, and I want to tell you this story because this is a true study or true example. Hi, Pat. Thank you so much for joining me. But she said that what she did was she now has 6 months of her monthly living expenses saved. She said that for any emergencies that might come up, she said that they have no debt. And she said that if she had to, she could even sell her car for a profit, or she could tap into their IRA. So, and as a result of her putting this strategy in place, they now have a net worth of $250,000. Now, initially when she answered my question about whether or not she, or what strategy they had put in place and whether or not her family could survive unexpected emergencies, she said something like, yes, we have 6 months in place, and yes, we have this. And I pinged her back and said, tell me, how did you come to a place where you put that strategy in place? How did you get to a point where you have 6 months saved for an emergency, right? 401k, IRA that you can tap into, no debt, etc. And she says, because I got sick and tired of emergencies coming up and my family wasn't positioned to handle it. So she was done with it. And in fact, so much so that she's now working on a master's degree for family financial wellness. So I just thought that that was impeccable, but it was a reality for her. But now let's go back to this particular article. Money stress creates work mess. And the case study that the gentleman did in the article, and just in case you didn't have a chance to read it, was he was talking about the trucking industry specifically. And I always tell our daughter that you can be the safest driver out there, but you don't necessarily know what some other person is up against on the road. Can you relate to that? Like, you don't know what burden someone else might be carrying. You don't know what stress someone else may be under on the road. So you have to watch out for other drivers. It's not just about you and how well you think you drive. So they were talking about these truckers, and they were saying that, you know, accidents as a result of truckers who may be stressed about their finances average $100,000 per accident, and goes up into the I think it said $1.3 million a year, 1.3 billion, had to be billion, million doesn't sound like a lot, a year. Well, that it costs the companies, that is. So maybe 1.3 is feasible. That it costs the companies as a result of these truckers getting in accidents because they can't focus on what they're doing on the road because they're concerned about their personal finances. The term that was used in this article, if you didn't get a chance to read it, was financial precarity. And they said that that is an actual thought, is where you have so much concern about your finances that you can't focus, you can't think straight, that you lose some of your cognitive ability as a result of you not being able to think straight. So truckers on the road, even if it's a person that works at Starbucks, even if it's a person that works in a church, right? I can just use that example. Stressing about money can truly affect your outcome at work. Now, it said that 65%, statistics say that 65% of people said that they lose sleep over financial concerns. 65% of Americans say that they lose sleep over financial concerns. What else did the statistics say? The problem is there is no margin of error, no room in the budget for a hiccup, no room in the budget for an unexpected expense, no resources available so that they can liquidify if they needed to any money and get access to any money. Can you relate to this? Are you aware of people in your surroundings who have experienced this? Yes or no? Some of the stressors, if you noted in the article, was the fact that the schedules, there's a lot of uncertainty in their work schedules. So that was stressful for them. Audrey, I know you work as a nurse, you work a varying schedule, but it could be that you have enough lead time ahead of time so you know what's coming, your schedule for the month, so it may not be as stressful. But they're saying that the average person who works a typical hourly wage job sometimes don't know how many hours they're going to get the very next week or for the month. Hence, they're always stressing about money because they don't know the schedules. They don't know what's going to be coming in. And as a result of these stressors, companies are actually finding that it's actually found that companies are losing money because people are carrying those stressors to work with them. So then the question is, what are some solutions? What are some possible solutions that could be put in place for individuals who are experiencing the reality of the fact that they do not have savings on hand? And it is a reality for many that they do not have savings on hand. It says that that is the dominant source of stress, not necessarily that how much money they make, not necessarily when the pay period is, but the fact that they do not have a cushion set aside. Now, I'm going to speak from a personal perspective. I remember when I stepped away from corporate, and some of you have heard me reference this. Gerald he didn't get it. I mean, and I understand that as someone who had been in banking all his life and whose major was in accounting. He was like, Rita, you have lost your mind. And Gerald is so calm and polite and kind. For him to tell me that I have lost my mind, I was kind of shocked. And I was like, okay, God, he's not ready for this transition. So you need to help him see the vision that you've given me for ministry so that we can go forward. And so I had to wait. God didn't tell me to pull away from my marriage and sacrifice the marriage for the call that he had on my life. So I had to wait patiently until Gerald was ready. But here's the thing. In preparing for that transition, the thing that was most important to me? The thing that was most important to me was not the fact that I was giving up this lucrative salary, but it was the fact that I did have funds on hand. It was the fact that I had a cushion. It was the fact that I had savings. It was the fact that I wasn't going to have to burden Gerald with what I wanted to take care of or manage to myself. And at that time, Lauren was like 10 years old when I left corporate. So I knew that in mapping the transition plan that I had a cushion. And that made all the difference in the world. It wasn't that I was losing the salary. Now, for Gerald, it was that I wouldn't have the salary anymore. But for me, that wasn't a concern. I knew through and through that was a call for my life, but I also had a cushion. So I didn't have to stress. I was able to leave. I was able to, of course, once Gerald caught up with the vision, I was able to leave. I was able to go forth in seminary. I was able to study. I did not have to be concerned about money. I had a cushion. My studies did not suffer as a result, and the things we were able to do as a family didn't suffer as a result. Now, the other thing too, remember I said that the young lady said today that they didn't have any debt. That was the other important caveat, not having any debt. Guys, you can't just we can't just continue to go through life carrying consumer debt. Now, I do believe that there is good debt and there is bad debt, okay? I'm talking about bad debt. I'm talking about unnecessary debt. Thank you so much for joining us. But I'm talking, hi Tamara, but I'm talking specifically about bad debt. No, we can't continue to go through life doing that. But as a result of us not having debt, that stressor wasn't there either. So again, I didn't have to take that into school. This young woman today who I had that dialogue with, hi Amy, thank you so much for joining us. The young woman that I talked to earlier today who had put together her strategy for ensuring that they could cover unexpected expenses, one of the key variables was the fact that she did not have any debt. So solutions again, you need to have a cushion. That was the main variable that was stressing people out, was the fact that they did not have a cushion. Not so much the fact that they did not have a paycheck or didn't know when their paycheck was coming, but that they did not have any money set aside. So one of the things that I made sure that I did, again, in walking away from corporate America, was that there was a cushion. Secondly, making sure that we had no debt. Okay, now, here's another thing that I've done. Now, as a result of from leaving corporate, then going into ministry, and then, okay, here I am 4 years ago, stepped away from a W-2 job, okay? I no longer serve on staff at a congregation. So I'm no longer paid like from a paycheck, right? A regular job. So what were some of the solutions that I put in place or strategies that were put in place so that I could do that? Now, this may seem very trivial to some people, but it was extremely important to me. Yes, I'm independent now. Yes, we become independent entrepreneurs as a goal, some of us, but you still have to have a strategy, because if you're stressed about money, your creativity is going to be stagnated, right? You can't even hear the vision and the voice of God that he may be giving you if you're worried about finances. So it still equates to money stress creates work mess. It's a different kind of work, but it can create mess if you have not put in place a vision or a plan to carry through. So one of the things to me, and I think a couple of you guys have heard me say this, it was important to me that I was able to keep myself quote unquote groomed, right? I liked my nails being done. Not necessarily, and I don't mean, going to the salon and doing it. I learned how to do it myself. Tonight I just have on clear, which is unusual for me, but anyway. But I liked ensuring that my nails were done, because as you go on speaking engagements, as you conduct workshops, as you do retreats, you're speaking all the times. I'm a person who speaks with my hands, so it was important to me that I could take care of my nails. It was also important to me that my hair was presentable. So I made the choice to go natural, because I didn't want to have to incur that expense in my household or burden my husband with some additional expenses that were not necessary. Thank you so much, Amy, for the love. So you learn to take care of what you know is important to you. Now, granted, by this time when I left the church, our daughter was then a young adult, and she's off and on her own, and she's taking care of her own finances. So we didn't have that. But when I first left corporate, I had a 10-year-old child at home. But the same thing, no debt. There was a cushion. And today, I put in place things that I could do as a woman to continue to take care of myself. I still like to have a lovely cup of tea. I still like to go to have tea with friends. So you have to position yourself, and you have to keep your heart and your mind clear from stressing about money, so that, again, you can hear the work that God has for you to do, or the vision that he has for you. Now, let me say this. Some could be concerned about not necessarily not having a cushion as it relates to their regular monthly or weekly expenses, but some could be concerned about whether or not they had a cushion for their long-term financial future. Depending on what age or stage you are in life, the concern will differ for each of us. So I'll use myself as an example again. If I left corporate 18 years ago, when I did transition to the church for about 10, 12 years, the church didn't offer 401k or a pension plan, right? So there was no intentional savings being put towards my long-term savings plan. Why? Well, first of all, when as a staff person in the church, the pay was minimal, $17,000 a year, okay, minimal. So it wasn't about the money. It was about the call. It was about the work that God had for me to do, and I trusted that God, who has promised that which is to be, shall bring it to pass. If God calls us out to do something, he is going to make sure that every single need that we have is met. So I trusted him, and I believed in him, and he has shown us that. So I didn't worry about retirement. I didn't worry about it. That was one of the first things my husband said was, well, what about our retirement? I said, God didn't promise us a retirement. He said, go ye therefore into all the earth. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. Okay. So I say that to say, there are some who do or are concerned about their long-term financial plan. Again, what's the solution? What are some things that they can do to prepare for that? There is an opportunity for us to take the time to do the research. Take the time to ensure that we have the knowledge that we need to have, so that we know that there are many financial solutions out there that can be applied, so that you can ensure that you have a long-term financial strategy in place, or financial wellness in place long-term. And God has revealed that. I'm speaking to myself personally, to me. And so I don't even have to be concerned about, the dry season, or the season when there was no contributions being made towards my retirement or towards my 401k, because you know what? He has filled that void completely. And now I spend my days supporting other individuals so that they don't have to be stressing about money, whether it be short term or whether it be long term. And they don't have to be carrying that stress into the vineyard where God sends them, or into the marketplace where God sends them, or into their workplace where God sends them, because there are solutions. The opportunity we have, though, is to seek the knowledge. And upon seeking that knowledge, we need to apply that knowledge. Now, I'm going to give a very, very simple strategy. And again, another simple strategy for those in your life who may be struggling right now financially, stressed about money, and hence they're not able to perform well in the work that is laid at their feet. You may have seen on social media this thing called the $5 challenge. And it seems so simple, but it works wondrously, because I think many people can relate to putting aside $5. And I'm going to give an example of how I did it. When I first left a formal job, my sister was going to be this is about 3 years ago, so maybe I had already left the job, a year and a half at least. My sister was going to be celebrating her 50th birthday, and we were going to all take a family trip, right? Yes, it does, Amy. You're right about that. We were all going to take a family trip. So you know what I started doing? Every $5 that was put in my hand, if I would spend a 20 and a 5 came back, I took that $5 and took a little teacup and would roll that $5 and sit it in a teacup and sit it in a china cabinet. And every time I got a $5 bill, I set it in a china cabinet. Why? Because I was going to Puerto Rico with the family, and I was not going to burden my husband, and I was going to celebrate with my sister, and I wasn't going to be concerned about taking away from any responsibilities that I had. But again, $5, $5, $5, and I had cash on hand the entire trip, never ran out of money, never had any concern, was able to bless others on the journey just because I took those steps. So for those people who may be stressing about money because they don't have a stash, and that's the biggest stressor, is because they have no savings, they don't have a cushion, they don't have any margin, share with them the $5 challenge and encourage them to put those $5 aside, because knowing that you have saved $85 is better than not having $1, not having anything on hand to take that stress off of you, because you cannot be effective. You're not able to be as effective as you are called to be, wherever you may be called to be, day in and day out, if you're stressing about money. I mean, right here in the article, the studies show the biggest stressor is the fact that people are not putting aside funds. Now for long term, even with me, and now, have been able to pick up and continue with my savings for long term, you would be amazed even how minimal is required to do that. I just sat down with my husband this week and showed him, what is in place and where we stand right now, what is in place with our daughter and where she stands right now. And I've been out of corporate 17, 18 years now. But that's because God promises if you are faithful to do that which he calls you, he will take care of you. However, he also gave me insight and privy to this knowledge. And as a result of that, I'm sharing it. And also as a result of that, I can go forth in the vineyard in peace, right? No stress. I can hear what thus says the Lord and go forth as he will call you, right? Go forth as he will call you. Go forth as he will call me. So that's what I had this evening. I just wanted to talk about a couple of solutions. And of course, for most of us, we can only relate to how we can only share, our story and how it relates to us. If there is an experience that you've had that could bless someone or help someone as it relates to you remembering when you were stressed about money because there was no cushion, share it with us, because it's going to help someone. It's going to bless someone. If you are concerned about your long-term financial goals and would like to know some more solutions that you can put in place, just reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to have that conversation with you and to support you with putting strategies in place that can be aligned to support you and your needs. But I thank you so much for watching, and know that I appreciate your support in this group. Be sure to invite anyone who you think could benefit for spending time and who could benefit from the information that's shared in the group, and know that I love you. And thank you once again, Amy and Tamara and Audrey and Pat and everyone else who would catch it on the replay. Just know and understand that I appreciate you and I love you, and reach out to me if you have any questions, if you have any concerns. Blessings until next time.